Team Inspiration and like family, like this is our crew. Basically the best people on planet Earth.
I love it.
And we absolutely love you. So I want to give you as much time as possible. Do you want to start with just a little bit about your story? I know lots of them don't know much about your story, and it's really powerful.
What part of the story? That's going to take me like 45 minutes.
Okay, not your whole story. Just like how Beachbody found you, just share with us some of your heart. Like, how'd you come up with Shift Shop? What are you so pumped about with this program? Stuff like that.
So I was discovered off YouTube. Carl discovered me. Actually, where we filmed Proving Grounds, that's where he had an inspired thought to find another trainer. He was on that property. It's a ranch. It's like 100 acres. It's up in the mountains. It's pretty cool. But anyway, he was out there kind of exercising, and he had this thought that he wanted a new trainer. So he went to YouTube and was Googling, workouts on turf, and my video popped up out of trillions of videos in this little corner of the earth, and it was actually a video of me training my son, Chris Jr. He was 2 at the time, and yeah, that was it. And from there, they kind of watched me for 5 months on social media, because what happened is I had a felony. I got in trouble. I caught a drug charge from I had a relative. So just to kind of give the overall story, I had a cousin who had some marijuana sent from California to a vacant home, and the home was an apartment, and it was across the hall from my son's mother, her apartment, right? And so my cousin, the landlord, his wife was battling cancer. So he didn't have time to fix up the apartment. And to kind of back up a little bit, my cousin was in prison for a year. He got in some trouble. And when he got out, I moved him into my home, and I kind of rehabilitated him. And I opened up a quarter of my gym, and because he was a professional boxer, I opened up a quarter of my gym and bought him boxing equipment, because I knew that if I can keep him in the gym, I can keep his head on straight, because all he knew was boxing. So anyway, over a course of a year, he finally got himself in a great place. I had him mentally stable, physically stable, and he was actually finally making money. So the next step was for him to leave the nest. So I said, all right, you're a big boy now, time for you to get an apartment. And I knew that apartment was vacant. So I went to the landlord and I talked to him about, this apartment. And I said, if anything ever happened, I'll vouch for it. The guy knew me pretty well. I was a pretty popular guy in my town. I'm training high schools and pro guys. So he said, unfortunately, my wife's battling cancer. I don't have time to fix it up. So my cousin said, well, I'll in exchange for the deposit, I'll clean it up. So the guy's thinking, okay, fine. So he goes in there, he finds a piece of mail that the girl who previously lived there left, right? So his nephew sent him 10 pounds of marijuana to his vacant address. He hadn't moved in there yet. He was just cleaning it up. So his nephew, from the story I got, his nephew's like, well, what if the UPS find out she don't live there? Who else lives around there that you would know? He said, Chris's son's mom lived across the hall. What was her name? He told him the name. Didn't think the guy would do anything with it. So the day before this happens, I'm at over there visiting my kids. I saw the police go by. I ain't think nothing of it. Just thought they were patrolling the area. And so the next day, I'm over there again visiting. And when they rolled by the day before, they took the license plate numbers of the cars in the driveway. Well, immediately they just linked this to me because my car was in the driveway, right? And it's just a typical story where it looked like this would happen. So I'm over there, this package arrives. I never physically put my hands on this package, guys. I never touched it. I just looked at it. It had my son's mom's name on it. So I asked her, did you order something? And she was like, no. And then we're looking at the package. Police came around the corner and they said, Chris, come here. And at this point, I'm like a deer with headlights. Like, what's going on? Like, they came out of everywhere. So they took my cell phones and, told me to put my hands on the car. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And they said, you know what's going on. I'm like, no, I really don't. Like, what's at this point, I'm in a place of like, dude, what is going on? So they take her to the side and they ask her, is Chris a drug dealer? And she laughed at him. Like, she literally laughed. She said, this guy has 2 gyms and he works all these hours. No, he's not a drug dealer. So he said, there's drugs in that box. And she was like, right. And my name, right. So anyway, they take my phone. He tells me to unlock my phones. I unlock them. He's going through my contacts, which are very very important people in my town. How you think this person would feel knowing that you're selling drugs? I said, selling what? He said, there's drugs in that box. I said, sir, I don't know. I don't, what are you talking about? So to him, in his defense, I'm trying to get out of it, right? So he's going through my phone, and they went to my email to track UPS. 0 traces to me to this package. He pulled up all my tracking stuff from things I've ordered from my gym. Absolutely no trace to me to this package. So he put us together, and he's like, all right, so unfortunately, there's no trace to Chris to this package, but ma'am, it's in your name, so you have to go down for this box. I said, what do you mean she has to go down? What does that mean? Like, he said, we got to charge her with, I said, charge her? I said, wait a minute, sir, she has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter. It's in her name. We got to charge somebody. I said, well, what if I say it's mine then? At this time, guys, I still have no idea my cousin did this, right? So I said, what if I say it's mine? Is she going to get in trouble? He said, nope, she won't get in trouble if you admit it, sure. I said, then it's mine. So I took the rap for this thing, and it wasn't even my package. So from there, my life like hit rock bottom real quick. So to the community, I have 2 successful gyms, and I'm training, high school teams, which means I lost them, and the pro guys live in town, and so it looks like my gyms was a front, like I was living a double life, right? So my kid goes to a really nice school. She starts getting bullied. Now she's like, Dad, tell the truth. Tell him it's not your package. I said, sweetheart, I already admitted it was mine. So I'm out on bail, and out on bond, and I have to go to court in 3 months. So in the midst of those 3 months, my daughter's getting bullied, like really bullied. Your dad we thought he was a good guy. He's a drug dealer, and no one wanted me around their kids, which I understood that. So I'm losing members. I lost my teams. I'm losing money like crazy. And so my kid is getting threatened that people are going to place drugs in her car while she's at school, like under her tire, so that I can get in more trouble. And they were going to plant drugs on my porch, just all this stuff, right? So she's losing her mind. So she's not understanding that I already admitted this is mine. So her and I are like not getting along. So I have a rule at my house where, when she leave for the weekend, her laundry has to be done, because on Sunday we all do laundry. We can't be, all, on the same washer and dryer. So anyway, I come home on Friday, wore out, exhausted, and the washer's on, the dryer's on. She's not there. So I thought she went to Starbucks or something with one of her friends. I called her. I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm at grandma's house. I'm like, you're supposed to be here. She was like, well, I'm not coming back there. I can't sleep. I'm uncomfortable. I'm afraid people are going to plant drugs. No one's going to plant drugs on anything. You need to come back here and finish your laundry. I'm not coming back there. Whoa. It's the first time my kid talked back to me in 21 years. I said, okay. I'm sorry. At the time she was 18 years. I said, okay, you got 15 minutes to get here. 15 minutes goes by, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, no her. Raven didn't show up. So I called her. I said, I'm not coming. Okay, no problem. I'm on bond or not, you're not going to disrespect me. I'm coming to get your car. You grounded. She gets mad. She goes to, here's a kid's a 3.8 GPA student, right? Just a phenomenal human being. She goes to Rite Aid, buys a box of extra strength Tylenol, goes to her grandma's, turns the bath water on, turns the radio up, takes 30 pills, right? Her grandpa just so happened to come home because he forgot his wallet. He has to use the bathroom. They have one bathroom. He's knocking on the door. Can't hear anything, music loud. He goes downstairs and asks his wife, "Why she taking a bath?" And she was like, "Yeah." She said, "She doesn't take baths. She's like sitting in her own dirt." So she takes showers. And she said, "That's a good point." Goes back up there and knocks on the door. "Sweetheart, how long are you gonna be in here after use the bathroom?" No, don't hear it. Crack the door. He didn't want to walk in, or he just want to send his voice to the door. Saw her draped over the bathtub, unresponsive. They rush her to the hospital. There's nothing they can do. They send her up to children. She's in the ICU for 4 days. So again, I'm a very popular guy in my town. I go to the hospital, I got security guards and everybody like watching me visit my kid, like very uncomfortable. Child Protective Services gets involved. They tell me I'm a horrible dad and this is my fault. My daughter's fighting for her life and I did this to her and my character is just destroyed, right? I pull up in my driveway from leaving the hospital, get a phone call. My buddy, I had a very huge following on YouTube. My training was in like 215 countries. Pulling the driveway, my buddy's like, yo, man, unfortunately, I can't do any more videos for you. I can't be affiliated with you with this felony. No problem, man. I understand. I got bigger fish to fry. My kid's fighting for her life. I can care less about a video. So I'm sitting here at $20,000 in the bank, right? YouTube was a way I expressed myself. It was a way that I was able to reach my audience. Had no experience with filming and editing. Went to sleep, woke up the next day, went and bought a whole production. I spent $16,000 on it. Didn't even know how to turn it. Only thing I know how to do was turn the cameras on. I didn't know how to edit, no nothing. So I called my buddy. I said, hey, man, do you know anybody? It was another guy. Do you know anybody who could teach me how to film and edit? He said, dude, I can put some fillers out, but people don't really want to be around you right now. I said, okay, man, please just put some fillers out for me. So one guy said, you know what? I don't care about him getting in trouble. I love to help him. So he comes over my house. He trains me 2 days a week for 3 months to teach me how to use this software, right? Meantime, I was so depressed. I needed to think of things that would motivate me. So I thought about every movie I ever watched as a child that gave me any form of hope, any form of inspiration. And I bought the movie posters, right? So I got movie posters all around my house in my man cave, because it kept me motivated. You know, when I was down, I would look at them and they all meant something, right? And so at this point, I spent my last $2,000. I'm broke. I don't have any money, but I spent it on production and movie posters. So the very first, I was ready to try to, film and edit. The very first video I ever filmed and edited myself was the video that Carl found on YouTube. And so that was the only time I've ever edited, the only time I ever filmed, and it was me training my son. And so
crazy.
It was kind of ironic that when created Shift Shop, it was really supposed to be an outdoor program, and it was originally called OCD, Outdoors with Chris Downing. So to go back to that, when I was discovered, I hit rock bottom. Like, I had no money, but I had posters and a camera and lights. So I had a suicidal thought that like presented itself to me right down here. It was like, just end it. You'll never rise above this. Just go. And I knew at that moment that if I engage with that thought, if I welcome that thought, it would take up resonance inside of me. And it would only be a matter of time before it would give me the creative ideas to walk that out. So right when I had that thought, that's when I knew I was in a really bad place, because now I'm thinking about taking my life. And like, what about my kids? I could never leave my kids here like that. So I wrote myself a letter. And in this letter, I wrote everything I wanted my life to be. And part of that letter said that I would partner with a company via YouTube, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and do great things. So when I wrote the letter in the physical, I convinced myself that I was already living this life, right? I was already a top trainer. I was already physically where I wanted to be. And in the physical realm, I had to literally live as if I was doing it. That means I had to train a certain way. I had to speak a certain way. Every time I got down, I read my affirmations. I literally convinced myself that this was my life and not what I was physically living. And the more I did that, the more my reality started changing. All of a sudden, people started coming back to my gym, and I started treating it as if my gym was packed again. And before you knew it, Beachbody called 5 months later, and it was like, you guys were supposed to call. What took you so long? Like, number one, the reason why most people don't love themselves is because they hold on to some kind of unforgiveness. They from something that happened in the past. And people don't understand that, like, even, all of us up until this point, no matter where you are in your life, how successful or not, there's been a series of events that's happened up until this point in your life to shape your reality. How you think about yourself, how you think about your kids, how you think about your family, how you think about your business. Those events have shaped you, right? So if you're struggling in your business right now, that has something to do with the past. Somebody told you wouldn't amount to something. Somebody made you question your ability. Maybe you living your life through somebody else's lenses, doing something that somebody else wanted you to do. They projected their fears, worries, and insecurities off on you, but because you didn't have a sense of identity, you're living their life. Think about this for a second. How many people have allowed people to rent space in their head? Think about what I just said to you for a second. How many people have you actually allowed to rent space in your head? And you carrying that anchor with you everywhere you go, to work, to church, to your kids' games, to other events. You carrying that anchor with you. While this person is out there living their life, you still stuck with the bondage of that, right? You trying to run a business and you got them with you. And it's an anchor and it's holding you back. And all you got to do is forgive this person, not for their sake, for your own sake, because they got a piece of you. That part of you that you need to take your business to the next level, that person has that. So you got to make a decision. And this is what we go through in the power of I am. You got to make a decision. Your pride versus your purpose. Which one is it going to be? Your pride is going to tell you, I ain't forgiving them. I don't want to talk to them. I'm okay. I'll get through it. But your purpose is so much bigger than that. Whatever you allow your purpose to go fix, you'll get blessed multitudes of that. Here's a prime example, guys, and I'll let you go. I want you to think about this. When I was a kid, I was molested twice, right? 4 and 6. My mom was a prostitute. My dad wasn't in my life. I was adopted. I grew up a kid with low self-esteem, brokenness, right? No sense of identity, no blueprint of how to be a man, no anything, but I had an athletic ability. I used sports to channel my hurt. 21 years old, I have a kid. I get full custody of my daughter when she's 2 months old, but I'm raising my daughter out of fear. Fear that she don't live the way I live, right? I got to protect her from everybody. And I'm missing the beauty of my child. I love her, but I love her with fear. I'm raising her with fear. Everything is about fear. I'm afraid to let her stay at people's house because of things that happen to me, right? And all of a sudden, I have an awakening. I'm realizing I'm carrying these anchors with me everywhere I go. The anchors of the dude that molested me, right? The anchors of my mom not being there, allowing me to get taken away by the welfare system. The anchor of my pops not being in my life, right? So I had to make a decision. I'm at a picnic one day, right? And at the picnic next door, all these years, is the guy who molested me. And I always told myself, if I see this dude, I'm going to split him to the white meat. In black terms, I'm going to crack his head, just in case y'all don't know what that means. So don't be going to your little friends saying, I'm going to split somebody to the white meat. Don't do that. So I walk up to this dude, right? And this was my moment because I already knew that I was carrying anchors. This was my moment right here to get part of me back. All this time I'm raising my child on 70% of me, 30% of me is missing. He got a percentage, my parents got a percentage. So I walk up to the dude, same face, just got hair on it. I look the exact same way I looked as a kid. I said, man, can I talk to you for a second? He knew it was me because he knew my aunt. And my aunt lived next door to his sister where he was at the barbecue. I said, come on, I just want to talk to you for a second. I'm a big dude, guys. He was terrified. You can see the fear on his eyes. I walked off with him. I said, listen, man, I always told myself if I ever had a chance to see you, that I would apologize. I would allow you to apologize for what you did for me, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I really pulled you to the side to tell you that I forgive you for what you did. And I hope that you never put your hands on another child and violate them the way you violated me. I said, but from this moment forward, man, you don't have to look over your shoulders no more. I forgive you for what you did to me, man. And I gave him a hug, right? And I walked off. I couldn't even stay at my aunt's picnic. I just got in the car, I had to leave. I'm bawling my eyes out like a child. And now these tears that was once hurt was therapy. So I get in my apartment and I'm just bawling. And I'm talking about, the thick tears, the ones that when they fall and they drop, you got to look because you like the thick ones. You know what I'm talking about. The ones that give you a headache, the ones that when you cry, you know what I'm talking about? Those ones. So anyway, while I'm already in this zone, I started picking up my phone. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I just want to forgive you for everything you ever did to me, not being there. Make up in my life make up in my kids' life what you didn't do in mine, and we're good. I called my dad, said the same thing to him. All of a sudden, I cry some more, and the more I cry, the more free I become. right? These anchors are they're removed. And all of a sudden there was one other person that I needed to forgive. And it was me. Week 2 of the Power of I Am. Forgiving yourself. Forgiving myself for holding on to that pain. Forgiving myself for looking in the mirror, not liking the reflection. Forgiving myself for all the pressures I put in raising my child. All the hurt that I carried. Forgiving myself for raising my daughter on 70% of me and not the whole 100% of me. I started realizing that I need to forgive myself for all the things that I dealt with all that time, all the pressures I put on myself. Always focusing on the things that was wrong with me and never focusing on the things that was right with me. And I became free. And when I started forgiving myself, guess what else happened, guys? I started loving myself. All of a sudden, I got a little mole right here, right? I got a butt chin. All of a sudden, that butt chin used to get picked on when I was a kid. I started embracing it. You know, I got a butt chin. I'm unique. I'm different. Not everybody has a butt chin around me. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I started embracing my high cheekbones because my grandma was a Blackfoot Indian. I'm the only one in my family with high cheekbones. I started embracing all the things about me that I used to get picked on about. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute. All my pain that I went through was converted to passion. And the passion that I have is the passion that you guys see on that stage, because I just want to bring out the best in you. I just want to love you. I just want to empower you. I just want to inspire you to be the best you can be. So it was meant to destroy me, brought out the best in me. You see what I'm saying? But I would have never realized that unless I knew the power of who I was. And now this power is magnified all over the world. So I can stay back humble and watch this happen, knowing that there was something in me all along that was bigger than my pain, bigger than my hurt, bigger than my past, bigger than my problems. But I had to make a decision. Is it going to be my pride or my purpose?